The demonic cult leader is my wife. Cheon Yujong said, if I told you that, would you believe my words? Jin Yomyong said, I would believe you. Cheon Yujong said, why? Jin Yomyong said, because those are the words of someone aiming for the top. And he said to himself, this is my own way of applying pressure to see if she can show the dignity befitting a young cult leader. As Cheon Yujong was silent, she exhaled, saying, you're an interesting person. It was already in this state when I arrived. Jin Yomyong said, then, may I ask why you came here? Cheon Yujong said, I thought if I subdued Ma Jinyun and handed him over to the Ma clan head, I would gain the Ma clan's support. Ma Chulsu said, what? Not Ma Chulsu, but Ma Jinyun. Ma Chulsu, in anger, said, killing my brother? Cheon Yujong said, I only said I'd subdue him. Jin Yomyong said to himself, what is this? This is a succession battle between Ma Jungchon and Ma Chulsu, so why do I feel like Ma Jinyun keeps getting the spotlight? Jin Yomyong said, Ma Chulsu, is there something special about Ma Jinyun? Ma Chulsu said, huh? I'm not sure either. Jin Yomyong said to himself, Ma Chulsu doesn't know, but the Ma clan head and Cheon Yujong know something? As Cheon Yujong smiled, Jin Yomyong said to himself, there are two pieces of information I can piece together right now. Cheon Jumyoung secretly passed something like a catalyst to Ma Jinyun, and because of that, the violent Ma Jinyun went on a rampage. The demonic art that amplified Ma Jinyun's power. It didn't give him new power he didn't have, but amplified what he already possessed. In other words, that temperament was something he originally had. Jin Yomyong turned around and said, could he be a killer star? Cheon Yujong said, correct. Ma Chulsu said, Jinyun is a killer star? Baek Sangha said, I heard that in the demonic cult, a killer star is subject to immediate execution. Is the reason you'd get the Ma clan support by bringing Ma Jinyun because you'd be helping a clan member avoid immediate execution? Jin Yomyong said, it's likely more because of the Blood Dragon heavenly enhanced sword art. Cheon Yujong said, oh, so you know of its existence. As she clapped her hands, Jin Yomyong said, it's a secret art said to be the only thing in the divine cult that threatens the heaven-slaying demon sword art. But since only a killer star can learn that sword technique, it's been the Ma clan's long-cherished desire. Jin Yomyong said to himself, the problem is that absolute walnut Cheon Jumyoung. As Cheon Jumyoung said before, the most certain way to reach the clan head without any interference is to bring Ma Jinyun's head. He mocked me while knowing everything. I was going to do it anyway, but you, I will definitely. As Jin Yomyong's head hurt, Cheon Jumyoung said, that is not what the Supreme Faction and the Demonic Faction are about. Jin Yomyong said to himself, what? Cheon Yujong said, there are quite a few uninvited guests. Ma Chulsu said, Jin Yomyong, it's the Blood Tears Sword Squad. Baek Sangha said, young Master Jin. The voice said, just because we're the Demonic Faction doesn't mean the world must be stained with blood. The eldest young master has spoken. Bring the heads of Ma Chulsu and Ma Jinyun and eliminate all witnesses. Ma Chulsu said, that absolute walnut Ma Yongchon finally went and did it. Jin Yomyong, let's retreat. We can't win against this force. However, one who wishes to stand at the peak must not fear blood. Jin Yomyong said, I've decided. The method to draw out the Ma clan head. If it's the demonic faction, then I'll use a method befitting the demonic faction. As he charged at the squad leader, the voice said, if you are my descendant, so you must do so. As the squad leader was shocked, Jin Yomyong stabbed him. Ma Chulsu said, could the way to draw the clan head out be? Jin Yomyong said, I'll kill every single one of these absolute walnuts crawling in and create a bloodbath. And he said to himself, if moving quietly isn't the only way, and if this is a better path for Cheon Yura, I will gladly walk this path. The deputy squad leader said, to kill the squad leader with a cowardly sneak attack. A member said, Deputy squad leader, what shall we do? The deputy squad leader said, the plan remains the same, kill them all, as they charged forward. Cheon Yujong said, how absurd. You dare point your swords even at me? Baek Ryong said, what will you do, master? As Cheon Yujong jumped away, she said, our goal was to secure Ma Jinyun, so there's no need to get caught up in this. Baek Ryong followed. Baek Sangha said, shall I help you? Jin Yomyong said, then please take care of their retreat path. Baek Sangha said, are you going to handle this alone? Will you be okay? Jin Yomyong, with a raging dark aura, said, don't worry. Right now, I feel like I could kill them all by myself. A few moments later, a boundless blood said, the Blood Tier Sword Squad has been wiped out. Ma Jinyun in anger hit his table and said, "Nonsense!" The Boundless Blood said, "Additionally, it seems they were defeated by a single person." Ma Jinyun said, "Ma Chul-su isn't even a supreme demon, so how could that be possible?" And he sweated and said to himself, "Or did one of the clan elders send reinforcements?" Ma Jinyun trembled and said to himself, "What should I do? I must act boldly. But what if I fail?" Ma Jinyun said, "Deploy the White Horse Sword Squad as well." As the White Horse Sword Squad was defeated as well, one of them dropped to the ground. Jin Yomyung continued to fight. One of them said, "If we can just take out one of his limbs, we'll have a chance." Jin Yomyung swung his sword and hit them all. Jin Yomyung said, "The demonic faction follows the path of the demonic faction. If that is a better path for her then." As the enemies lay on the ground, Ma Chul-su was silent, and he said to himself, "Is that guy really my age? How can there be such a huge gap in skill between us?" Ma Chul-su said, "Jin Yomyung, how did you become so strong? Not long ago you weren't like this, but now it's like you're running with some kind of conviction. So I want you to tell me the secret to your strength and what the driving force that leads you is." Jin Yomyung said to himself, "Should I tell him or not?" Jin Yomyung said, "To be honest, there was a heaven-sent opportunity." Ma Chul-su said, "A heaven-sent opportunity, I see." Baek Sanga said, "Was that something you could just say?" Jin Yomyung held the shoulder of Ma Chul-su and said, "So don't be too impatient, Ma Chul-su. Right now it might look like we're quite far ahead, but with your talent and effort, you'll be able to catch up in no time." Ma Chul-su said, "Then, your conviction is?" Jin Yomyung said, "Well, obviously." As Ma Chul-su said to himself, Jin Yomyung showed a certain kind of obsession, so when I asked about his intense motivation and singular focus, he gave a faint smile. Jin Yomyung said, "Well, obviously, it's that thing I requested in our contract." Ma Chul-su said, "You're saying it's really because of the young cult leader? Wow, you really are a madman." Jin Yomyung said, "That is the difference between you and me, Ma Chul-su. For the sake of becoming the clan head of the Blood Dragons Ma clan, would you be able to kill your brother, use your sibling, and turn everyone into your enemy?" Ma Chul-su said, "Jin Yomyung, don't tell me you." Jin Yomyung said, "Because I would be." A Boundless Blood said to the Ma clan's patriarch, "First, the Blood Tear's Sword Squad, and now the White Demon Sword Squad has been annihilated." The Ma clan's patriarch, in frustration, said, "That fool, Jin Gunak, you certainly raised your children to be quite troublesome." The Boundless Blood said, "Shall we deal with the eldest son of the demonic heavens Jin clan who is helping your second son?" The Ma clan's patriarch said, "Do not kill him. There is no need to make an enemy of Jin Gunak." The Boundless Blood said, "As you command." The Ma clan's patriarch said, "Right now, Jin Yoon's matter is more urgent. Where is he?" The Boundless Blood said, "He is still evading pursuit, perhaps to adapt to the killer star. The problem is the clues the young master is leaving behind. It is as if he is summoning your second son to the demonic jail cave." The Ma clan's patriarch was shocked and confused, saying, "What? Boundless Blood?" The Boundless Blood said, "Yes, clan head." The Ma clan's patriarch said, "I must go there myself." Jin Yomyung said to himself, Ma Jinyun, who was expected to die soon due to the killer star's rampage, continues to flee. Ma Jinyun, what exactly are you planning? It's strange that he hasn't joined up with Ma Chul-su even though he's right here. Guchil looked at the ground and said, "There are traces here too." Ma Chul-su, frustrated, said, "Jinyun." Jin Yomyung said to himself, "He lured us to a place where even the 6 clans are forbidden to enter. If nothing else, it's clear he wants to tell us something." Cheon Jin-moon suddenly appeared behind Jin Yomyung and said, "Ho ho ho, where might you be going in such a hurry?" Ma Chul-su, Guchil, and Baek Sanga said to themselves, "He appeared without a single trace? He's an incredible martial master." Jin Yomyung said, "Who are you, elder?" Cheon Jin-moon said, "I am an old man named Cheon Jin-moon." Jin Yomyung said to himself, "Wait, he's definitely from the Council of 7 Elders." Jin Yomyung said, "I greet the one-eyed demonic lord." Cheon Jin-moon said, "Oh, so you know of me?" Jin Yomyung said to himself, "Of course I do. The Council of 7 Elders is the group of elders that currently moves the Cheon clan, the majority of whom support Cheon Yujong. They are the culprits behind the Cheon clan civil war I am trying so hard to prevent. How could I not know one of the pillars that supports the Cheon clan?" Cheon Jin-moon said, "What an interesting child. Your recent actions have been quite impressive approximately. Though, would you mind stopping here and turning back? I admit those old fogies who don't know their place are being overly greedy. However, even if they are rotten, they are still the pillars of the Cheon clan. No matter how much you borrow the power of the 6 clans, things won't end well at this rate. If you turn back now, you can at least save your lives, both you and the second son of the Ma clan. Jin Yomyung said to himself, is he saying he'll pull some strings for Ma Chul-su? Jin Yomyung said, what happens if we keep moving forward? Cheon Jinmun said, you might be attacked by someone scary. For example, what if a martial master of the Orthodox faction who was imprisoned in the demonic jail cave suddenly escaped and blocked your path? Jin Yomyung sweated and said to himself, ha, now I see why the caretaker of the demonic jail cave has graced us with his presence. But if my gut is right, this man is. Jin Yomyung said, then if we stop here, what happens to the killer star? Cheon Jinmun said, did that brat Cheon Jumyoung tell you? Jin Yomyung shook his head and said to himself, Cheon Jumyoung, it seems you've got a bad reputation. Jin Yomyung said, that is not the case. Cheon Jinmun sighed and said, there is nothing that can be done for that child. It is a pity things turned out this way, but he must be disposed of before the situation worsens. In that case, it seems I cannot simply turn back. Ma Chul-su said, disposed of? His men said, please calm yourself, my lord. Jin Yomyung said, is that so? How unfortunate. Cheon Jinmun said, then I shall ask one last thing. Answer me seriously. Baek-sanga said, young Master Jin. Cheon Jinmun said, can you remain undeterred even when faced with an unbearable truth? As Jin Yomyung endured the weight, he said to himself, this fighting spirit rivals what I felt at the Heavenly Demon Hall, but I won't fall to my knees this time, because the power of the second Heavenly Demon is protecting me. Cheon Jinmun said, answer me. Jin Yomyung said, for me there is no such thing as an unbearable truth. Jin Yomyung said to himself, of course. Could there be a truth more unbearable than the fact that I'm a regressor? So go ahead and show me, whatever truth it may be. Cheon Jinmun turned around and said, then it cannot be helped. I can only wish you luck. Since it was your choice, I trust you will take responsibility for it. Jin Yomyung said, of course. As Baek-sanga and Guchil helped Jin Yomyung, Cheon Jinmun said, one test should be enough, right? Jin Yomyung said, if possible, I'd like to request for the Ching Cheng sect. Cheon Jinmun said, you knew? Jin Yomyung said, there's no way I wouldn't have. And he said to himself, the person I heard about at the Hidden Manor, I figured that person would exist somewhere within the divine cult. As Cheon Jinmun was silent, he turned around and said, fine, I shall grant your wish. In a different scene, Sabiyan said, they say young Master Jin has entered the demonic jail cave. He surely doesn't know that the sword demon has made a move. At this rate, young Master Jin's life is. Cheon Yura said, did the destruction of the White Demon Sword Squad get on the sword demon's nerves that much? Sabiyan said, it seems it's not just that. The atmosphere of the entire 6 clans is unusual right now. Even in our clan, succession battles have been forbidden for the time being. Cheon Yura said, that absolute walnut. Son of a biscuit. The worst guy in the world. Sabiyan said, ye young cult leader? Cheon Yura said, did you think I'd be happy if you backed off like that? How am I supposed to know if you don't say anything? You keep it all to yourself, yet you say you like me. You absolute scoundrel. You absolute walnut. As Sabiyan was shocked, Cheon Yura said, the demonic jail cave, huh? I see. The cult leader has given me a chance to choose. Then I must make my own preparations. Before it's too late, I will protect what is mine. Sabiyan said, you are absolutely right. Cheon Yura walked away saying, let's go, Bion, to the Heavenly Intelligence Pavilion. Sabiyan said, the Heavenly Intelligence Pavilion? So suddenly, Cheon Yura said, yes, the demonic jail cave comes after that. And she said to herself, making those absolute walnuts and Cheon Yujung Neil comes first. Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to watch this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed what you saw, consider sharing my videos or channel with your friends who might also enjoy it. Your support means the world to me and helps my channel grow. Let's keep this community thriving together. Until next time, see you in the next video.